And we are live. Welcome back for another stream, everyone. How are we all doing this morning? Thanks all for being here. Good to have you all here. Welcome to the Gameweek 6 deadline stream. Welcome Mr. Sealer Boss. Welcome Alvin Blocks. Welcome Najib, Franco, Benjamin, Austin, Doge, Napo, Najib, Mo, Evan, Tifa, Aiden, Ahmed. Welcome to the deadline stream. How are we all doing? Teams locked in, ready to go. Any last minute decisions? This is how I'm lining up. I'm feeling pretty happy with the team this week. The armband has switched from Salah to Haaland. I hope I don't end up regretting this one. It's the first game of the day as well. Salah against Everton away. It was a really close one. I will talk on the stream about why I've ended up switching the armband to Haaland, but it was a close one. Welcome to the stream, Ash, Yashlin, RL, Porter Bros, Avi, Zamashari, Rito, Hashir. Welcome. Looking forward to this one. Yeah, we've got an hour till the deadline. Lots to talk about. As usual, we'll do like a news roundup. Look at the kings of the game week. Look at the scout selection, predicted points, and all those goodies to make sure that we make the right decisions this game week. So welcome. We've got about 900 tuned in already. Unbelievable. We've been live for 2 minutes. Get your questions in as always, and I will do my best to answer them. So get them in. El Mag says, Luis Diaz, good captaincy. I've got him vice captain after Haaland. I don't think so for captaincy. I think Salah's a better captain if you want to go for a Liverpool captain. I think Haaland's probably the best. I think Kane's a very, very strong option, being very overlooked. I know most of us don't have Kane because we're on Haaland. And it's a really awkward one this week if you are on Kane because he's projected to do better than Haaland, but you know, back-to-back hat-tricks for Haaland. It's very difficult to overlook him in such unbelievable form. 9 goals in 5 games. It's just astonishing what he's doing. So, yeah, I'll talk about why I have switched from captain Salah to Haaland. It was a close one. I do think it is still a close one, but I think it's going to be a Haaland captain. Mohammed says KDB to Salah. I wouldn't make that move, actually. I would keep hold of KDB. He was benched last game, which to me says he's going to absolutely start this one. So I think KDB's a very, very good pick this game week, and I would actually keep hold if I had him. Kester says start Estepinian or Nico Williams. Difficult one. They've both got a good fixture. I think I would go Nico. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Leicester score, maybe just 1 goal, but I think I'd go Nico. He's been really impressive actually so far this season. He's taken a few set pieces. I think Gibbs White might take some as well now since they've signed him, but Nico's been really impressive, so I think I'll start Nico. Jamie says -8 or wildcard. I probably wouldn't wildcard out of -8. I think I would just take the hit on the chin. Wildcard really is in for much more desperate situations than that, so I don't think you need to wildcard really. I think you can get away with holding it. I think I'm going to wildcard between Gaming 8 and 9, which is an international break. Seems like the optimal time to use it. You get a 2-week pause. There are a few fixture swings. For example, I might hop off Arsenal assets. You know, Arsenal have Spurs in Game Week 9, Liverpool in Game Week 10, Man City in Game Week 12. So I think after Game Week 8, before Game Week 9 is a good time to wildcard. Waddy says, love the content FPLfocal. Thank you, Waddy. Appreciate that. Mark Howard says, sup Oscar, keep Gundo or go for Gross, Trossard or Diaz. If I was going to get rid of Gundo for any of those, it would be Diaz. I don't think it's worth the Gross or Trossard moves myself. Arguably, they're downgrades because Gundo, I think, is a very strong pick. Yeah, with Gundo, the problem is it's just his minutes are so unpredictable. When he starts, his ceiling is so high. Last game week, he did play quite deep, so I think I would make the Diaz move if you can do it for free. Not an urgent move, that one, though. Gundo's a good pick. Gross or Trossard? This is a really good question. So I had to make this decision myself. I had Rodrigo, who obviously dislocated his shoulder, and then he had to go. I shouldn't laugh, and I'm not laughing at the injury, but I'm just laughing how unlucky that transfer is. I literally brought him in last game week, and then half an hour after owning him, he's injured, and I have to get rid of him as soon as I've got him. So complete waste of 2 transfers, bringing him in and then selling him. I got Trossard. I think he's the more exciting pick between him and Gross, but both very good picks. So for me, my answer is Trossard, but only if you don't need that money for something else. because Trossard's 6.5 and Gross is like 5.9, I think. So if you have a good use for that money, then Gross. I personally don't need the money for anything, so it was Trossard for me. Good questions so far this morning. Keep them coming in. Nico Williams or Perisic? This is another good question, actually. So we'll do a news roundup because we are going to talk about Spurs during the news roundup. We'll start with Spurs, actually. So Paul O'Keefe's been the reliable guy for predicting Conte's lineups. And this week, he's got Perisic benched for Sessegnon. So I think this is a week to actually bench Perisic if you've got him, or even sell him. You know, players like Cucurella, Trippier, I think are good players to replace Perisic with. And then obviously after this game week, Spurs have Man City. So I think this points towards Perisic potentially being benched. He's only predicting here, but he's been very, very accurate so far. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if that does happen. Some Arsenal news on Ramsdale and Ødegaard. They are being assessed and they're going to see today. And he's hoping they'll be able to train with the team. So Ramsdale's still a little bit of a doubt. Zinchenko apparently hasn't trained with the team yet, but I'm not sure about that quote because he was spotted in training. So I don't know if Arteta's playing mind games or what's going on there. Isak is expected to shake off a dead leg. But Saturday will come too soon for St. Maximin, so that's good news. I know a few people have punted on Isak. Newcastle, obviously really good fixtures. Scored against Liverpool, and he scored a second, which he took really well, but it was ruled offside. Reece James is back from illness and available for selection. I think he was one of the most sold players, actually, heading into this game week, which could be a disaster in the making. I saw him last game week when he was, of course, confirmed out. And I'm a little bit fearful about what he could do over the next two. And lastly, this is we're talking about Haaland. This is why I moved the armband from Salah back to Haaland. Pep said on managing Haaland's game time, he said he's 22, recovers well. When he's 32, it's more difficult, but 22, not a problem. So unless this is just, you know, again, more mind games from Pep or just total nonsense, then to me this says that Haaland is in line for another start. And if he's in line for another start, then he's my captain. Afif says, what do you think of Kane, Haaland and Jesus as a front three? I think it's a bit much. I think right now it's Haaland, Jesus, and then either a super cheap forward like Archer, etc., or one of the mid-price strikers like Tony, Isak, one of those guys. It's a lot to spend on Kane, and then really you might have to sacrifice Salah, and I wouldn't want to get rid of Salah. Or you make sacrifices elsewhere. So I think it's a bit expensive. Welcome to the stream, Simon. Should I start Saliba or Fofana? I would go Fofana. Do we think Fofana makes his debut this week? If he does, I would say he's ahead of Saliba. Talk about captain. We just talked about captain. So for me, it's between Salah and Haaland in my team. I think Kane's a good option as well. But I don't have Kane, obviously. But based on that quote from Pep, it points towards Haaland starting this one. So for that reason, he's my captain. You know, back-to-back hat-tricks. I'm just not going to overthink it this week. I do think there's a huge opportunity if you do captain Salah and he outscores Haaland. The upside is absolutely massive because Haaland's effective ownership is going to be almost 200%. So basically, we're barely going to gain anything from whatever Haaland does this game week because he's going to be that popular of a captain. So if you captain him, he's just insurance, really. Whereas, you know, say if Haaland scores 1, which is possible, and Salah scores 2, or gets, you know, a couple of attacking returns, then the rank gain is massive there compared to if you're on Haaland captain. So there is that side to the coin, and it is about, you know, your risk tolerance. For me, I think I'm just going to stick with Haaland and find other opportunities. But Salah will be my captain for Game Week 7, no doubt. Home to Wolves. Perisic or Veltman? Veltman, if that's who to start. Ødegaard or Nico? I think Ødegaard. Start Perisic or Nico. If I had Perisic, I think I'd actually bench him this week based on Paul's prediction of Sessegnon starting in left wing back. So I think I'd go Nico there. Who do you guys think is going to be the next king of the game week? It was, of course, Haaland, who joined in Gameweek 5 after his hat-trick, 17-pointer. So as it stands, we've got 2 Arsenal, 1 Liverpool, 1 Man City, and 1 Newcastle. Who's it going to be this week? Get your guesses in the chat. Nico or Trippier start? Trippier. Thoughts on Estepinian? I think he's a great pick. I strongly considered him over Saliba last game week. I think he's a really good pick. Exciting left wing back. Cucurella replacement. Yeah, I think he's a good player. Looks like a bit of a raw talent, but yeah, he's shown some promising signs. Won the penalty last game week. So yeah, I think he's a good pick. The safer pick is Dunk, of course. Matto and Andre reckon it's going to be Salah this week. John reckons Kane. Adnan reckons James. Tony reckons it'll be me. As in Ben me, not me. Pappy says Anthony. I wonder if Anthony starts or not. It's a big game to throw him straight into, isn't it? Against Arsenal. I wonder if they line up similarly. Ronaldo on the bench, Anthony on the bench. I think Casemiro probably starts. Marcus says Trent. Good shout, good shout. How we doing, Marcus? Sponta says who to start, Estepinian or Nico? I think Nico. Isaac. Good shout. Gundogan, Robertson, Gross. We'll have to come back and check if anyone got it right, because it's often really random players. I say that after it was Haaland last week, but last season it was completely random players. Game week 1, Shaw. Who predicted that? Who saw that coming? So yeah, my just to recap, my transfer this week was Rodrigo to Trossard. I only had 1 transfer to spend, and I have spent it. I had no choice. Got rid of Rodrigo before his price drop, so it's Trossard in. I'm not expecting much from Trossard, but I like the look of the next 2 fixtures. What I will say is this has kind of booked me into a Game Week 9 wildcard. Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace, great fixtures. Game Week 9 and 10, poor fixtures, so I'll probably wildcard here, because this is the international break. 2-week pause between Game Week 8 and 9. So that's where I'm currently at in my thinking. I'll probably wildcard them. And it is nicely slap bang between Game Week 1 and the World Cup. 12th of November is Game Week 16, and then Game Week 17 is not till 26th of December. So, yeah, it falls quite nicely in between. Oops, let me mute Discord. There we go. So that's where I'm at. Tatenda says, what do you think of Sterling as a differential? Yeah, I think he's a great differential. I think my thoughts haven't really changed since the start of the season. He's quite expensive for what he's offering. He is in a bit of form at the moment, but I'm not sure just yet, to be honest. Maybe here onwards, Game Week 9 onwards, this run of games right here, maybe then, if he carries on showing the form over the next 3. But don't get me wrong, he could do very well these next 2. But right now, I'm not looking at him. I'm considering him probably on the wild card. Again, there's a fixture swing there nicely for Chelsea. So this is the sort of thing I'm looking at. And there's a fixture swing for Arsenal. So I think he's a good pick, but it's just awkward to get to him. I think the money's better spread around among other players, if that makes sense. If you're enjoying the stream so far, guys, do hit like on it. We've got about 200 likes and about 2,000 tuned in. So hit like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Get involved in the chat. YouTuber says he's got Edison Trent, Cancelo, Cucurella, James Dunk, Martinelli, Salah captain, Saka, Kane, Jesus. His bench is Andreas, Reed, Greenwood, 0.3 mil, 2 free transfers. What would you do? So, yeah, I mean, the starting 11 looks like it doesn't need changing. The defence, Trent, Cancelo, Cucurella, James Dunk. Nothing to really change there. 0.3, so you can't really go Dunk to someone like Trippier. Martinelli, Salah, Saka, I think that's fine. Honestly, I think you're not going to like this, but I think the best thing to do is to burn the transfer. I really think your team is in that good a shape that the best thing you do this game is to actually burn the transfer. Unless there's anyone you can sell Greenwood for, who looks likely to get minutes, or if Greenwood's close to a drop or anything like that. He's only minus 21% Greenwood, so yeah, I think honestly, I can't spot anything to do other than burn the transfer in your position. You've got 2 Fulham, so that's fine. I was going to say, if you had triple Fulham, you could move one on to free up Mitrovic in case you wanted to go for him down the line. But honestly, I think you burn the transfer this week. Saka, Cucurella to Trippier and Mount. I'm not a fan. I'm not even sure if it's an upgrade, that Saka and Cucurella to Trippier and Mount. I don't think it's an upgrade. I honestly think your best move is to burn the transfer. And don't be afraid to do that, by the way. And thanks for donation, Suresh. Appreciate that. I think I haven't missed any super chats. I think we're good. Perfect. Keep the questions coming in. Zachary says, love the content. Bench boost with a team of Sanchez, Trent, Perisic, Nico, Estepinian, Raheem, Martinelli, Gross, Diaz, Tony, Parland, Ward, Jesus, Harrison and Cucurella. Who's captain? For me, it's Haaland. I think Haaland's the best one. You haven't got Salah. I think it has to be Haaland. I would just be mindful, though, that Perisic is predicted to be benched, so there might be a better opportunity to bench boost than this week. Just something to be conscious of, Zachary. Paul O'Keefe, he was predicting that Sessegnon starts in left wing back. Let me just find the graphic. It was this one here. So far, he's been extremely accurate with predicting Conte's lineups. Interestingly, he's predicted Son to be benched as well for Richarlison. Sessegnon start in left wing back is his prediction. So just be mindful of that on the bench boost. Might be a better opportunity to bench boost down the line instead. Oh, there was a good question there, but I've lost it. It was something about... He had 3 players, and he said, which one do I bench? And he had Estepinian and Dunk, and I would bench Dunk. I think you just don't double up on Brighton defence. Surash said, Martinelli or Mbumo? I'd say Martinelli. Not a great fixture this week, but I like the look of Everton at home. Brentford away is not bad. And then you obviously have the option to wildcard over the international break, if you wish, if you haven't used your wildcard. And that is a fixture swing there for Arsenal, where you could move Martinelli on, and I probably will on the wildcard. I might keep Jesus, but I think you sell Martinelli here. Start De Silva or Nico, asks Abby. Nico. Rob says we're overdue a Salah goal. I agree. He hasn't looked quite himself so far, nor have Liverpool, I have to say. Obviously, they're missing Thiago, they're missing Henderson, so perhaps that's at play. But Liverpool haven't looked quite themselves so far, and nor has Salah really. Last season, he was just incredible the first half of the season. We've got Aish in the chat. He says, Robbo and Rodrigo and Plange to Nico and Bernardo Silva and Isaac -8. I wouldn't do that, Aish. Not for a -8. I don't think so. I mean, you have to get rid of Rodrigo. You haven't used your wildcard though, have you, Aish? So you don't need to go so aggressive. A -8 is like a very long-term hit, but what if you wildcard in like 3 game weeks? I doubt the -8 gets repaid. Kennedy says, thanks for the donation. He says, just wanted to share my bragging rights with you, Oscar, the real OG. I've been top of my mini league for a couple of game weeks now, thanks to your videos. Thank you. Oh, when I transferred in Trippier for Nico, thoughts? Yeah, good move. I love Trippier. Newcastle's fixtures are just so good. If you look at the fixture ticker, he's firmly my thinking. Maybe I'll sell Cucurella for Trippier. We look at Newcastle's games here. Palace at home, West Ham, Bournemouth at home, Fulham, Brentford. 5 really good fixtures. So I think Trippier is a great pick. So yeah, I like that move. I think it's a good week to have Nico, to be honest, and to start him. That's what I'm doing. Starting Nico myself. But yeah, congrats on the mini league. That's awesome. And thanks for watching my videos. Dunk or Veltman start. That's just a complete coin toss, to be honest. I would say Dunk. I sympathise for Dunk in his last game week, by the way. Very unlucky own goal. Let's have a look at the scout selection for Game Week 6, which is as follows. They've got Pope in goal. Back four is Trent, Cancelo, Estepinian, Williams. Midfield is Sterling, Foden, Kulusevski. No Salah. They've got Haaland captain, Nunez, and Jesus. What do we think? I'm not so keen on the team this week, I'll be honest. Eze or Walker? I'll go Eze. Gabriel, Dunk, Nico, start 2. Dunk and Nico. Isak to start. Yeah, he should start. I think he should start. He's shaken off the dead leg, so he should be in line to start this game week. Dunk or Nico? I think Nico. Best mid under 6.5 mil. Trippier or Gross, probably. Yeah, no Salah, no Scout. And they've got Nunez. I'm not sure if Nunez comes straight back into Liverpool's starting 11. I would be surprised if Firmino is benched. Firmino's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's played well in Nunez's absence. So I think Firmino starts over Nunez. You know, and it was a 3-match suspension. It's not like Nunez has just come back from an injury or something, you know, unfortunate. It was a ridiculous red card. Headbutting Anderson. Somnaf says, James for Perisic from -4. Andreas and De Silva bench. That's a tough one. The safe thing to do is to just start one of those bench players and leave it at that. But if it was me, I would be very tempted to take James from -4. I'd probably just leave it, to be honest, because, you know, Perisic probably comes off the bench and he could easily get you a return. So I don't think for -4. That's a really difficult one. Let me know in chat what you think about that. And it is under the assumption that Perisic is benched, which of course might not happen. But he's asking Perisic to James from -4, or start one of Andreas or Da Silva. Yeah, I'd be tempted to avoid the -4, and then you could make that move in Game Week 7 instead, when Chelsea play Fulham. And no midweek game weeks next week. It's the Champions League instead. So that's something to be mindful of. Don't make early transfers before the Champions League, because lots of our assets are going to be playing midweek. So hold those knees. Brennan Johnson captain. Don't know about that one. I'm ready to look like a complete mug if Brennan Johnson hauls, but no, not captain, not for me. I am back in Forest to win that game against Bournemouth. You know, at home they do tend to push forward attacks, so I think Forest win that game, but I wouldn't captain Brennan Johnson. Hipster says, would you double up on Forest or Brighton defence? I wouldn't double up, no. I think it's a bit much to double up on either of those. Brighton especially are extremely good value in defence, don't get me wrong. Love the Brighton defence. Dunk, Veltman, Estepinian, Sanchez, so much value there, but wouldn't double up. It's a bit much. Unless, obviously, of course, you're able to bench one and they're there on your bench just in case you need them, but probably not. Mo Omar, thanks for the donation. He says, hi Oscar, start 2 out of Saliba, Perisic, Nico and Andreas, or use one free transfer to bring in either James or Trippier. It depends who you're going to be selling. If you can sell Perisic for either of those, then I would do Perisic to James, 100%. In terms of who to start, it would be Saliba and Nico out of those 4. I'd be very tempted to do Perisic to Trippier this week, though. If you can afford Perisic to James, even better. I would do that. If not, Perisic to Trippier. That's what I would do. I think Perisic is going to be benched this game week. That's my gut feel, and that's obviously what Paul O'Keefe is predicting, and he's been extremely accurate with the Spurs predictions. So I have to back people who have a good track record and know what they're talking about. So yeah, I would trust in what Paul's predicted as well. He says Sessegnon starts left wing back, so I think it's time to sell Perisic. A potential bench in their Man City, so I would get rid. Mohammed says Walker and Neto out for James and a 4.9 mil mid. If you can do that move for free, yeah, I like that. I wouldn't get any mids that are 4.9. I would just get a 4.5 mil mid or 4.6. I think Andreas is something like that. If you have Andreas already, then you could get Reed. Trying to think of any other 4.5 mil mids that are playing. There was Lavia from Southampton, but obviously he's injured for a while now. But yeah, I like those moves. I think it's fine to sell Walker this week. I think James is great to bring in. In fact, let's have a look at the most transferred players. We'll start with most transferred in, which is gross. 829,000 have picked him up. 763,000 have got Haaland. What's Haaland's ownership now? It must be catching up with Jesus at this rate. Zaha's third, Martinelli fourth, Mitrovic, Bernardo Silva, Luis Diaz, Trippier. No surprises really this week. Perisic is surprising. I think that's not a transfer I would make this week. I would be getting rid of him if anything. So that's an edge you can have over the masses there, selling Perisic. No surprises. Rodrigo is the most sold. 1.9 million have sold him. James is second. Again, this is one that could really backfire. Selling James. 650,000 have sold him. Zinchenko, understandable. Erdegaard, not sure about that one. Tony. De Bruyne, that has potential to go extremely wrong. So does Salah. But yeah, as suspected, James is up there. We'll do a captain poll in a minute because I'm curious who you guys have got the armband on. Alex says Rodrigo to Gross, or Rodrigo to and Robertson to Trossard, Zaha, Luis Diaz, and a 5 to 6 mil defender. I've got 2 free transfers. If you can afford James, then yeah, I really like the Luis Diaz and James moves. Rodrigo and Robertson to Luis Diaz and James is a serious upgrade in both positions. Then yeah, I would do that. If you can't afford James, then I think Trippier is a very good option. But yeah, Reece James and Luis Diaz, that'd be a serious combination. Zaha and James, that's good as well. Keep the questions coming in. If you're enjoying this stream so far, do hit like on it. We've got 400 likes and about 2,400 tuned in. Before we get back to answering more of your questions, I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Fanslide. I know a fair few of you have been playing in this already, and some of you might know I've been playing it since the end of last season. It's basically the world's first in-play fantasy football game. So you play literally during the games. It's completely free as well. And what I do like is with Fantasy Premier League, obviously you make your team and then it's locked in and there's nothing you can do after that. But with Fanslide, you play one-off matches, so there's no stress if you have a bad game. So for example, this clip on screen is from the Community Shield. So that's what it looks like if you pick a player. You just slide them on with your finger on the app. So yeah, I slid out Rodri, Walker, slid in Matip, Trent and Salah. So I'm hosting a mini league for the Everton v Liverpool game, which is the link in the description. So click that to join. I think the mini league code's down there as well. It is 18 plus, but as I say, it's completely free. It's got global leaderboards and stuff like that. Highly recommend it. Super fun game. And I don't know if you guys saw, but FPL Mate called me and Raptor out last night, and he said, "Why don't you guys join my mini league and we'll see who's the best manager." So there's lots going on today. Me versus Raptor versus FPL Mate versus FPL Harry said he'll get involved as well. So yeah, it supports the channel. Click the link at the top of the description. Give it a go. Looking forward to playing against the other content creators, and we'll see who is the best manager. Question from Oscar, another Oscar. He says, "Hello, Oscar, mate. Would you swap Perisic to Dunk from -4? Not from -4, no. As I say, I do think Perisic will be benched, but I wouldn't take a -4 to sell him myself. I would just leave it as is." Jason says, just going back to that as well, Oscar, Perisic could come off the bench and do damage. You know, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't take a -4. Jason says, "Got 2 free transfers. Thoughts on James and Raya for Ramsdale and Walker?" Yeah, I like that. I rate that, definitely. Ramsdale, obviously, Man United this week, not a great fixture. He is a doubt for the game, so I would sell him, yeah. Raya is a great replacement. I think Sanchez and Henderson are good replacements too, but I like the Raya pick. And I really like Walker to James. Good transfers, Jason. You're on the right tracks with that. Ari says, we have to get a wildcard draft, bro. I know I didn't have time this week, because obviously we had the midweek Gameweek 5. So there was like no time to get all the content out. I didn't do the preview video, which I normally do. I only had time to do 3 videos. So what I will say is, when I do the experts videos, if any of the experts have the wildcard active, I always send one of them a DM and I say, are you willing to share your wildcard for me to use in the video for you guys to see? Because it's great to see, you know, what a perfect wildcard looks like to one of the experts. So if I ever don't do a wildcard video, there tends to be a wildcard draft in the video, if that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully I'll do one next week because there's more time. Keep the questions coming in. Appreciate you all tuning into this deadline stream. We've got over 2,000 tuned in. Are we ready? Half an hour to the deadline. Captain sorted. Transfers made. Bench in the right order. Caleb says, do I start Perisic? If I had Perisic, I would personally bench him this week. I think he's going to be benched. Nandwi says, should I play Neto or Rashford? I think Rashford's good to start this week. Who have Wolves got though? Haven't Wolves got a good fixture? I'm trying to remember who Wolves have. Southampton at home. That's a tricky one. I think I would still go Rashford. Should we do a captain poll? See how you guys are lining up for captaincy this week. So who's your captain for Gameweek 6? So we'll go Salah, Haaland, De Bruyne. Who else is there? Kane. It's pretty much those four, isn't it? Other. There we go. Trying to pin that. Chat's moving so fast. Pinned. There we go. I've pinned it. But I'll spam it as well. Get your votes in. Let's see how you guys are lining up for captaincy this week. And I will catch up on chat in the meantime. Get your votes in. I've just pinned the poll, so you should be able to get it that way. Sell Harrison? No, I don't think he's a sell this week. Will James start? Yes, I imagine he will. He's back from his illness. So 61% on Haaland, about 30% on Salah, 5% on Kane, 2% on other. Not many votes for De Bruyne. Should I buy James or Trippier? Both equally good picks in my opinion. You know, you get what you pay for with the extra 1 mil of James. His ceiling is just so high. If I had to pick either, then it'd be James. Josh C says, is Haaland going to start? I think he will be, based on Pep's comment. I think he will start based on what Pep said. Yeah, to me that said that he will start. Yeah, it looks like Haaland's going to be the most popular. No surprises really. You know, back-to-back hat-tricks. Yeah, so Haaland's my captain. To recap, my transfer this week is Rodrigo to Trossard. Just going to have a quick check whether we've got any leaks or any news or anything like that for today. Doesn't look like it. Keep the questions coming in. Perisic out, Trippier in, asks Raf. Yeah, I like that move. I would probably make that move myself if I had Perisic. Why wouldn't Perisic start, asks your boy Jad. He's played the last few in a row, and Paul O'Keefe has predicted that he's going to be benched this game week, and he's been really reliable for predicting the Tottenham lineups. So perhaps it's the sort of game where you can start Sessegnon and then he can play Perisic midweek in the Champions League. So yeah, I think I agree with that prediction. I think it's going to be Sessegnon left wing back. Stephen Henderson says 2 free transfers: Diaz to Tony or Isak. I don't think I'd sell Diaz this week, to be honest. I wouldn't make either of those moves myself. I think Diaz is fine this week. I tweeted something about Everton actually this week. I think they are second worst for chances conceded down their left and right flank. So I think it could be a good game week for both Diaz and Salah actually. So I wouldn't be selling Diaz to Tony or Isak. Not this week, not personally. You know, and then after that it's Wolves at home. Maybe you could sell him for Chelsea, but I think Diaz is fine to hold personally. But if I had to pick one, Tony. Ari says Sanchez and Sterling and Andreas, or Edison and Zaha and Trossard. Sanchez, Sterling and Andreas, Edison, Zaha and Trossard. It's totally dependent on whether you have to start Andreas or not. If he's benchable, then I think I like the first one more. That's close though, actually, I have to be honest. Zaha, Trossard, Edison. I think the second combination just about edges it. Just about. But it depends if you've used your wildcard as well. Just be mindful that Trossard is basically a 3-week move and then you have to sell him. You can't keep him for Liverpool away, Tottenham at home. So I think the second one just about edges it. I think Ederson's a good pick, so Zaha. Trossard, I'm not expecting much from him, but I've got him. I think he's a slightly more exciting pick than Gross, so that's why I've picked him up. I don't need that spare cash that Gross leaves me with. The second combo just about edges it for me. Afif says, I've got a problem with my team. He's got Raya, Trent, Perisic, Nico Williams, Cancelo, Salasaka, Andreas Trossard, Haaland, Jesus. Subs are no good. Ward, Saliba, Archer, and Bailey. Should I take a -4 for another transfer? No, I wouldn't take the -4. You know, Saliba's not the worst option in the world to start if you need to. I wouldn't take the -4. Oh, you can see the edge of my green screen. That's not ideal. Where do I go? Not there. Here. Is that better? No. Need to sort that out. Where's Teddy today? Teddy! No, I wouldn't take a -4. I think I'm caught up on chat. Keep the questions coming. Is Odegaard starting? I think Arteta said it's going to be a late test. I imagine he does start though, yeah. Lewis Dunk or De Silva? Dunk. Firmino or Mitrovic? Mitrovic. Hi Oscar. Hi Caleb. FPL Junkie says, is there any truth in Robertson getting benched for Everton today? I haven't seen that, to be honest. I don't know where that's come from. Who said that Robertson is being benched? It wouldn't surprise me at all. He's been pretty poor so far this season, to be honest. Tsimikas arguably deserves a start. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Robertson does get benched for this one. But I've not seen any leaks or anything this morning. It's very possible, though. Hello, Oscar. Hello, Monkey Man. Still spot your messages. Kelzang says, I got Gibbs White. Start Nico or start Walker? Nico. Just about. Nico. Where's everyone tuned in from around the world for this deadline stream? As always, if you guys tag me in a photo, wherever you're watching from, I'll retweet it. So take a little photo of your setup, wherever you're watching from. Your laptop, your TV, wherever you are, on your phone, out and about. Tag me in a photo. I'll retweet it. I love to see where you guys are tuning in from. It's amazing how global these streams are. Kukurea or Estepinian? Kukurea. London, Tokyo, Denmark, Australia, South Africa, Norway, Wales, Poland, Jamaica, Sweden, Pakistan, India, Kenya, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia. That is crazy, isn't it? It's actually unbelievable how global the Premier League is. Nepal, Trinidad. Oh, chat's moving so fast, I can't even keep up with it now. Bangladesh, Greece, Ghana, Dubai, Serbia, Zambia, Azerbaijan, Dublin, New Zealand, Zambia. I think I've got them all. Algeria. Any countries I've missed? Cambodia, Indonesia, Jupiter. Jupiter. What's the Wi-Fi like on Jupiter? The stream must be about 45 minutes behind. In fact, the stream's not even started yet on Jupiter. Kuwait, Iraq, China, Madagascar, Georgia, Texas, Tunisia. Anyway, let's get back to the FPL, shall we? Alright, okay, slow down everyone, because I'm going to miss the FPL questions now. Snowpokes from Middle-earth. Roland's a Brit living in Houston, Texas. Shouldn't be awake. Yeah, it must be extremely late there. Must be like 3, 4 a.m. Start 2 out of Gross, Nico Williams and Trippier. I would start Gross and Trippier. Martinelli or Rashford? Martinelli, but there's not much in that. I think Martinelli. It's not a great fixture this week for Arsenal, but I love the look of Arsenal at home. Brentford away is not bad either. Right, let's get back on track. No more countries in the chat. Get your questions in. FPL questions. Walker or James? James. Martinelli or Rashford? Martinelli. Andreas or Da Silva? Andreas. Daniel Snell, thank you for the donation. There's no message, but just a donation. Thank you for that, Daniel. Ward or Ramsdale? Ramsdale. Surely this isn't finally the game week that Leicester actually keep a clean sheet. You wouldn't think it's possible for a 4-mil keeper to be overpriced, but Ward is. It should have been 3.5 mil. They should have invented a new price point for Ward. In fact, last game week I think was his first 2-pointer, so he's on the up. But before that it was all 1-pointers. Captain Trossard. I don't think I'd captain Trossard. I'm not expecting much from him, honestly. It's a good fixture against the leaky Leicester side at home, but for captain, that's a massive shout. I don't think I'd put the armband on him. Dunk or Nico Williams? I think Nico. I quite like Nico this week, home to Bournemouth. I think it's a nice fixture. Nico or Eze? I think I'd be tempted to start Eze there. Bench Saliba or Robertson? Saliba. There were some murmurs that Robertson's benched, but I haven't actually seen anything reliable. I'm trying to find anything this morning during these streams in the background, but I can't find anything to point towards Robertson being benched. It's very possible, though. He's been pretty poor this season. He's not had any involvement, any big chance involvement so far this season, so it is a big drop-off since last season. El Neni or Salah? El Neni. Odegaard or Collins? Tricky one, that. Odegaard is the upside pick, so I'd go Odegaard for the upside. Veltman or Neto? Neto. Trippier or Dunk? Trippier. Rio asks, why Trossard over Gross? So, I think Gross is a very, very good pick as well. For me, I didn't need the extra money. So I went for Trossard because he is, in my opinion, the more exciting pick. He's taken twice as many shots in the box as Gross. So, yeah, I think he's the more exciting pick. He's projected to do slightly better over the next 3. I'm not expecting much from Trossard or Gross over the next 3, but I think it's the slightly more exciting pick. Certainly the end of last season as well, he was in very, very good form. He went on a very, very good run of games, put up some good returns, so I think he's the slightly better pick if money is no obstacle. If you have use for that money, the extra 0.6 mil, then I would go Gross, but I don't personally. I may end up rolling the transfer in Gameweek 7, and then I'll maybe do something like Cucurella to Trippier or something like that. If anyone's interested in becoming an fplfocal member as well, it's the join button below the stream, or there's Patreon as well. You get early access to my videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord. You get a badge by your name and some goodies like that. Pingu says, what are your thoughts on captaining Haaland over Salah, given Haaland could get rested? Is it a week to captain him? So based on Pep's comments, I think that Haaland starts this one. He was questioned in this press conference about Haaland and his minutes and so on and managing him, and Pep basically said that he's 22 and when you're that young it's not a problem. If he was 32 it would be, but when you're 22 it's not a problem. So to me that points towards another Haaland start. I do think he plays probably 60-70 minutes max, as he has done in some games this season. But, you know, imagine he starts and hauls again. It's a real pie-on-face moment after back-to-back hat-tricks if I don't captain him. So I think he starts again, personally. And I think they're clearly managing his minutes here. He's only got the 90 once, and that was against Newcastle when they were chasing for much of that game. So I think the trend is that he comes off early when the game's wrapped up early. But don't get me wrong, there probably will be the occasional benching as well. But yeah, I think he starts this one. The boss, how we doing? He says, what's good, Oscar? Congrats on 110k. Thank you. Great stream as usual. Just wanted to ask if Nunez is worth the armband. No, definitely not. I think there's no guarantee he even starts again. Firmino's been good in Nunez's absence. You know, a couple of game weeks ago, he had that 2 goals, 3 assist game. Scored last game week, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, arguably he deserves to keep playing. So I definitely wouldn't have the armband on Nunez. Oh, he says, Mitrovic versus Spurs or Trippier v Palace. Who are you starting? That's a really tight one as well. I think I'd give it to Trippier. Not ideal to bench Mitrovic, but what would you do in chat? Because, you know, Mitrovic has been putting up returns against top sides. I think Spurs is a really, really tough game for Fulham away at Spurs. So I think Trippier just edges it, but there's not much in that one. I think it'd be Trippier for me. Bench Perisic or Saliba? Perisic. Edison or Sanchez? Edison. If money's no obstacle, again, like I said, if it's not, if you don't have a use for that money, if you go down to Sanchez and that extra 0.9 mil gives you, you know, a huge upgrade somewhere else, then obviously it's worth going Sanchez instead. Daniel Snell says, Alvarez worth a punt with the Champions League starting next week. I think he's one to monitor right now. I don't think I'm going to go there. I think it's a big risk right now. So for me, Alvarez is on the watch list. I think he's like 6.2 mil now. It's a ridiculous price point if he starts getting regular minutes. But right now it's a huge punt. So I don't think it's a punt worth taking right now. Will KDB start? Yeah, I think he almost certainly does. He was benched last game. So you imagine he starts this one. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I appreciate that. Did I miss a super chat? Let me scroll up. Abdullah. Can you check my chat? Couldn't fit it in this. Hang on. Let me try and find it. I have to do a Control F. I'm going to struggle to find it now, I'll be honest. I'm scrolling up. You're going to have to ask it again, Abdullah. I can't find it. I think it's already gone off the screen. Ask it again and I'll try and spot it. Jonas says, Neto to who? Zaha, LEFC mid, have Martinelli, Grace, Pereira. There's no replacements at that price point. That's the thing. So really, you have to find extra money from somewhere else to upgrade him, or you downgrade him all the way to someone like Reed, and then spend that money to upgrade a defender, for example. There is no one around 5.2 mil that's worth starting, basically. Pratik says, hello, start 2 of Eze, Nico, Martinelli. Come on, you Gunners. I'll start Eze. I think I'd give Martinelli the nod just about over Nico, but it's not. Yeah, Nico's a good option this week, I think. I'm happy to start Nico this week. Trying to spot Abdullah's message. How do you spell it? Abdul. Edison, Cancelo, Trent, Trippier, Cucurella, Martinelli, Diaz, Anthony, Sterling. Anthony. Sterling, Haaland, Jesus. I've used the wildcard and don't want Salah. I'm not sure Martinelli and Anthony. Should I check? I wouldn't have Anthony. It's too soon. He hasn't even made his debut yet, and we don't know if he starts against Arsenal. You know, whether Ten Hag throws him in at the deep end for a big game like that, or whether he sticks with the lineup from the last game. So I would get rid of Anthony myself. It's a really, really good team. I would get Zaha over Anthony. The rest looks good to me. Bit risky going no Salah though. If I was on a wild card, I'd still have Salah But yeah, Zaha over Anthony for me. Right, Jason says, do we know the effective ownership of Salah and Haaland? No, you only know it post-deadline, effective ownerships. It's based on the captaincy, so obviously we don't know what captaincy is going to look like. You can project captaincies. It is possible to project how the captaincies will look for the game week, but it's never bang on. I would imagine Haaland's is going to be extremely high, almost 200%, and I think Salah's will be way lower, like 50-ish%. Anchit says, thoughts on Alvarez? Alvarez is a wait and see for me. Obviously did very well last match, but we need to see him starting regularly before we go there, personally. I think last match was his first start this season, so he's a wait and see for me. Bergier says, start Dunk, Nico or Gross, mate. Gross. I think Nico first on the bench. Samuel says, start Saka or Perisic, and thoughts on Kane to Haaland. Start Saka, definitely. Kane to Haaland. The thing is, if you don't have Haaland and he hauls, it could be brutal. Really brutal. So you almost have to make the move as insurance, right? Because it could be so bad. If Haaland hauls and Kane blanks, it's almost a season ender this early. Because everyone's going to be, nearly everyone's going to be on Haaland captain. Well, I say that. We did a poll earlier and it was like 30% on Salah. But his effective ownership is going to be monumental because there's going to be people with triple captain on him and all that. So if I had Kane, I would make the move this week, personally. Leskip says, who to bench, Walker, Nico or Gross? I think I would bench... I think I'd bench Nico. Yeah, I think I'd bench Nico. First on bench. There's a question from... Where was it? I did that one. Good. Just about caught up. Oh, I'm sweating. Smashing through this deadline stream. We've got under 10 minutes to go. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I appreciate you all for tuning in. About 2,500 tuned in. It's been a really good deadline stream again. Really enjoyed it. Tom Jenner says he's coming up. He's first in the school league. Any tips to stay up on top? I would play your own game. Don't look at what the other managers are doing. Just keep playing your own game. Ignore what others are doing. You know, if your mate says, oh, I'm going this guy captain, don't go, oh, I'm going to go this guy captain just because he's doing that. Just ignore them. Play your own game, basically. And if you're first, keep doing what you've been doing because it's working. FPL Hawk is on Captain Salah. Who's everyone got the armband on? Any Salah captainers in the chat? Question from Joker. He says, Almiron or Nico Williams to start? Nico. Thanks for the donation as well, Fawaz. There was no message, but thanks for that. It's been a great stream so far. Enjoyed this. Andre says, best FPL Pro on YouTube. Never been called an FPL Pro. Appreciate that. Finlay says, I've just joined the stream. Any transfers this week? Yeah, I had Rodrigo, so I've sold Rodrigo and I've brought in Trossard. Really annoying, the Rodrigo one. Complete waste of 2 transfers, bringing him in and then getting rid of him. But it's just one of those things, right? You can't get frustrated at something like that because it's totally out of your control. It's impossible to predict someone dislocating a shoulder, getting an injury like that. So, yeah, it's one of those. It is what it is. So, Rodrigo has left the team as soon as he came in. Trossard, his replacement. Not expecting much from Trossard, but I like the look of the next 3. Kane or Jesus, I can afford both. Kane if you can afford both, but he's predicted to do much better this week, but I think it's very risky to go about Jesus longer term. You know, his ownership's still monumental, 79%. You know, Everton at home's a great game. So I think you're probably better off with Jesus because that money can be spread around elsewhere. Tevin's on Cancelo captain again. Big shout. C4 says, Fofana or Cucurella? This is a good question as well. Because so Cucurella signs for Chelsea, right? And we're like, oh, 5 mil Chelsea defender. Bargain. wing back. And then Fofana signs, and we've got a 4.4 mil option. So what do you guys think? Who's the better between Fofana and Cucurella? Cucurella seems to be favoured by Tuchel, so right now I think he edges it, but I'm strongly considering Fofana on the Gameweek 9 wildcard, because he's the sort of player, for 4.4 mil, you can bench him, right? And if you need to, he's startable in any of these games here. So I'm actually considering both when I get to my wildcard, probably in Gameweek 9. Jason Stewart says Nico or Neto. I'll go Nico. Yeah, I like the look of Nico this week. I think it's a good fixture for Nico. Happy to start him over Saliba, even myself. CFJW says Perisic to James or Perisic and Neto to Nico and a 6.5 mil -4. Perisic to James, easy one. Venom says, oh, donation from Venom, no message. Thanks for that, Venom. Fawaz says bench boost of Ward, Cucurella, Nico and Andreas. Oh, just hit my mic. Let me just check that didn't unplug. No, we're good. Bench boost of Ward, Cucurella, Nico and Andreas. Probably not. Because Ward and Andreas, what are you expecting from them? Not much. Leicester just look like conceding every time they play. Andreas is facing Tottenham away. Spitting bars now. No, I don't think I'd bench boost that. Perisic or Nico? Nico. A few minutes left till the deadline. So yeah, this is my team. Let me just refresh and make sure that has saved. Good. Yeah, so if anyone missed it, I've done Rodrigo to Trossard. Haaland captain for me. Start Martinelli or Saliba. I'd go Martinelli. Back the high ceiling pick there. When it's a 50-50, I tend to just back the high ceiling pick, right? Chase the upside. Who would you play, March or Eze? I would play Eze. Edison or Sarr? Edison. Guardian is on captain's Son. I would just be mindful that Paul O'Keefe has predicted Son to be benched for Richarlison. Might not happen, but that's his prediction. So it is just note that that's a huge risk, and he is out of form, and he's been coming off early. So I don't think I'd go Son captain. Thanks for the donation again, Venom. Are you struggling to do the messages, Venom? Just chuck it in the chat, and I'll try and spot it. Chuck it in the chat, Venom. I'll try and spot it that way instead. Couple of minutes till the deadline. Cucurella or Nico? Cucurella. Just going to have a quick look if there's any last minute leaks or news. Doubt there will be. Nah. I'm trying to spot Venom's message. Where are you, Venom? Venom, quick, we've got a minute. Get your message in. Dallo or De Silva? Oh, Dallo, just about. Should I keep Isaac in my team alongside Haaland, captain, and Jesus? Yeah, I'd keep Isaac. Yeah, keep him. Not ideal to be making that decision 1 minute before the deadline, though, right? It's been another really good stream. Really enjoyed it. I hope you've all enjoyed tuning into this deadline stream. If you did enjoy it, please do hit like on it before you go. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already. There's going to be 4 videos coming next week. I might even do a weekend video as well. So look out for that as well. And subscribe for that if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you're not already. Locked. Everyone says locked in the chat. Joel says locked. Fargo says locked. Hopak and Abdella says locked. Jake says deadline over. That's it. We made it. Matalet Pablo. Hi wants us to do a raid. We could do a raid. Who should we raid? Chris says great stream. Keep it up. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Tarek says, Focal, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, Tarek. Have a great weekend, all of you. Should we do a raid? Who is there live to raid? Let's have a quick look. Let's have a search, FPL. We'll have a look at who's live. Live. The FPL duo.
Predictions for game week.
Yeah.
Game 6 fixtures. So I'm gonna do that now.
Seems like a nice guy. We'll go raid this chap. This is FPL duo.
Guys, those are the games for this week.
We're gonna head over to his stream. Tell him Focal sent you.
Obviously, there's no Monday night.
That. Send him some love. He's got 9 tuning right now. Let's go raid him. FPL duo is his name. It's just him on his own, so not living up to the name, but we'll go raid over there. Tell him Focal sent you. Thanks as always for tuning into the stream. Do hit like on it before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Final reminder to join the Fanslide mini league. Link in the description for that. I'll be playing, and I'm up against FPL Mate and Harry and Raptor. Focal out.